G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name's James, welcome back to my channel, welcome if you are new. Today I'm going to be playing in this little journal that I just realized probably about 20 minutes ago that I don't think I've shown on YouTube. It has shown up, it's definitely been around on the social media circuit. I know I've put it into stories, I've done Instagram lives in here, there's posts on Instagram about it, like it's been around, but I just don't think I've really worked in it or kind of explained how it came to be on YouTube. So I'm gonna flip through it really quickly and just kind of give you a bit of a rundown of what's inside and what it is, and then I'm going to work in it, and while I work in it I'm going to jump up into a voiceover and chat to you about Playtest 2 and Creator Box. Two things, one's wrapping up, one's launching, and I just want to have a chat to you about how I feel about that. I mean why would I want to tell you how I feel about it? I want to tell you some of the information, but I guess I could tell you how I feel about it as well. It's been a wild ride. I guess what I really need to do right now is sit down and turn my brain off and play. That will give me a lot of rest, a lot of good feelings. I'm going to film it because I just still need to do a YouTube video. But I'm excited to film it as well because I think these are these moments that I try really hard to capture on film when I'm at the point where my brain is going to leave and I can become very mindless, and just it's quite an honest look at how I do journal in my free time. So I'm hoping that's going to happen today. I know it's hit and miss. One time we've done this before and it turned out like an absolute tragedy. Another time we've done it before and I had a great time and I loved what I did. So, let's just see. We've got a 50-50 chance of making something good today, but my expectations are so low. I'm sure I'll be fine if I just do anything at all. Let's get into the flip. This cover is a reversible Rogue Folio by Sojourner in the field note size. I've got mine turned inside out because I really like this texture and I want to see how it wears in. I love this little folio. I've never worked in this size before. I'm not quite sure what field notes translates to in other journal languages. Is this a B6? I don't think it is, but you'd think I'd know. You would expect me to know these things, but I'm just terrible. I don't want to know too much because the more you know, shooting star, the more I think I'm probably going to be tempted to fall further into this rabbit hole. And as it is, I've already started becoming that kind of person that, really labors over the decision of whether to put a patch on a journal or not. That's just crazy. I love to personalize things. Once I told myself I was being crazy, I went all out and put patches everywhere. Steve is still quaking. He cannot believe that I did it. But this is my planner, and I've got a little luggage tag from Traveler's Notebook. I got my creative 1-inch journal charm from the September Playbox on Playtest 2. This patch is from the August Playbox. These two are from Disney, and this one is also from Disneyland. This was when I went to Galaxy's Edge, that Star Wars themed land, which I found really, really fascinating, and I have never seen a Star Wars movie. And I know a lot of people were telling me how to watch them, which order to watch them in. Guys, I'm not going to watch them. When are we going to accept this? I'm not going to watch it. And it's not because I think it's bad. I think everyone loves them for a reason, obviously, but it's just really not my deal. Although, I loved Galaxy's Edge. I think it's a really wonderfully detailed, themed land at Disneyland. So maybe that inspires hope. Maybe when I get Disney Plus, their new streaming service, maybe I'll watch The Mandalorian or something. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm still not there. I'm not there where I'm going to watch the whole series and tell you that I did it. So what I'm saying is I basically got to a point where I was like, James, you don't really care about that stuff. Just put your patches on. Steve was freaking out, but if I know I'm getting this way where I am becoming precious about the journals and the covers and the art supplies and everything, it starts to suck some of the fun out of it. And this whole project was a huge reminder to me how this should just be the most fun you can get in a creative play session. And so through Playtest 2, we actually broke in this new journal and kind of went absolutely crazy on it, ripping out pages, painting backgrounds, putting paper and pens and ink everywhere, and then getting a brayer and rolling over everything. It was an insane process. The whole thing was filmed. It was super fun to watch back, and a lot of people really started to get into abusing their journals, which I think is a good thing. We just took a lot of the precious out of a lot of stuff real quick, and as it is, maybe I was the biggest cheat out of everyone, because not only was this gorgeous folio gifted to me It was actually gifted to everyone that came to the Sojourner Open House a few months ago. Rowena did an amazing job putting on such a beautiful tea party open house meetup, and we had a great time, and everyone got to walk away with one of these covers, and we had this exclusive meetup washi tape. Anyway, this is what we got, and it was a beautiful reversible folio. You can see that's actually the front cover there, that like the front of the leather, but I wanted to have it inside out, and I think I might want to put patches on this too, but I'm uncertain because the other patches I have are destined for my travel journal, which maybe I'll just mention real quick. I am still working on my travel journaling course. The launch date is TBD. Very tentative. I'm making sure that I have enough time to put all of the finishing touches on really, really nicely. It's not something I want to rush, especially after putting in so much effort already. The journal looks amazing, and I'm very upset that I have to keep it a secret for so long. I know I did overshare a little bit in playtest 2. I did put a montage together. I said to myself I wasn't going to do it, but I just couldn't help myself. And I also put the Japan vlogs up there. But I think we all enjoyed that. Hopefully. I know I certainly did. I can't keep a secret to save my life. So it's really difficult, but I'm still working on that. I know there were a few questions, and as always, you'll see a lot of promo for that before it comes out. But anyway, let's get into this. This is a Moleskine pocket-sized notebook. This is not the art version or anything, like the watercolor paper. It's not sketch paper, just a regular notebook. And it is hardcover, which I like because it keeps this really rigid in its folio. I don't know why I like that, but I just do. I think it's different for me. Here we've got some collage. A lot of stuff in here was all done on playtest 2, either through tutorials or just through like fun studio vlog kind of stuff. More collage tutorial. These are all Daisy Inktober pieces from last year. Yes, I'm not doing Inktober this year, I know. But I am doing Whimsy Ween, and I've already started, so I'm really excited about that. More collage. These are Japanese origami papers. Pages, lots of pages in here have been started, but are nowhere near, even being worked on, let alone finished. This one is finished though. I think I wanted to show you this because I'll talk about Creator Box when I do the voiceover, but this will be very familiar if you are getting it on Creator Box. Like you will see something in there. How do I not say more than that? I'm sure I'll say it. I'll spill all the beans in the voiceover, I'm sure, but this is something that is before the Creator Box. Not the actual, I can't do, how hundreds of these and then put them in the boxes, but I'll let you know exactly how this will come about in the voiceover at the end of the video as I work through this journal. That's what I want to do too. I just want to play and work in this. I really have the urge to stamp right now, so I will possibly just be stamping all through this. More collage and painted papers. I think a lot of the start of the journal isn't really worked on. A lot of the middle is, but towards the end, I don't know. It's not chronological. I would just go through it and pick a page and think, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. I want to try something. So this is one of the die cuts from my sketchbook fragments pack on Etsy, and I just extended the legs and the hair and made this a nice little corner thing. This is from the Modern Kokeshi tutorial on playtest 2, which is finishing sadly this weekend. I'm very sad about it. Also, I couldn't possibly physically keep it going, but it is always sad to close it. It becomes such a fun, really immersive experience, and the bundle is still available on Etsy after the fact, but there's just nothing quite like being in it in the moment, watching it all happen, watching people, everyone trying the same techniques and tutorials at the same time. It's just, I don't know, I feel like we're actually having this massive summer camp, but online. That's what I love about Playtest Patreon. Even though Patreon loves to throw me curveballs every 5 minutes. I don't know why they do it. They think it's fun. Anyway, more of these half-finished or half-started pages. Glass half full, glass half empty, I guess. This one's finished. And you can see, when I say finished, I mean it's ready for journaling, because I will put words here, I'll write something. But at this point, nothing is written here, and that was purposeful. As long ago as I did this, I know that we did this back in August, from the beginning I thought, don't write on any of these pages that you don't need to write on, because I had this idea for Creator Box. So it should be probably obvious by now. Maybe I just don't want to spill the beans here, because I know I've still got a voiceover to chat to you in, so I just want to get through the flip. This is from a collage sheet on Playtest 2. All of those weekly creatures from my Fobonichi, which has been neglected again. I neglected it all through August, and then guess what? September? Gone. I'll just have to do another monthly wrap-up spread, which is fine too. We've got another finished page here, collage cluster with some illustration, some blank pages. These are my fave. This is from the collage tutorial, the mosaic, paper mosaic exercise that I like to do with collage sometimes. I think it's really effective. This was collage tutorial again. Wow, we had so many of the examples from the collage tutorial. It was super epic, but I had a great time doing them, and it's just a video tutorial on all the different ways I like to collage, or why I might use it and how I would do it. So this one was actually building a full piece out of collage, which is something I do probably the least out of all of the other styles of collage, I'll say. But I really enjoyed it. We did this on an Instagram live, just illustrating her, pulling reference from her. She looks kind of weird, but she's fine. This was gouache with a brayer, actually. Really, really fun, interesting techniques. And the brayer has a build-up of acrylic on it, so you get this really fun texture with the gouache, and some of it even looks like coral. You know, like sea coral? What other types of coral are there? It looks like that coral, that fan coral. You know what I'm talking about, with all the little twigs? I don't know, I loved it. It was such a really fun effect. I don't know if I could recreate it, but if I can with the brayer, I think that's how I do it. Just the brayer and the gouache. Maybe watercolor would work well, but I think it worked a little bit better because gouache is a little thicker and more opaque. Another piece from collage sheets that I just cut up and then just illustrated over the top of. That was really simple. Some of these colors won't pick up really well on the screen because they're violent neons. So just imagine this, but like glowing orange. You know, the screens can only pick up the colors they can pick up and transmit to you, but the pixels can only go as red as they can go, or as green as they can go, or as blue as they can go, and that's just is what it is. Maybe one day in the future they'll have neon, like screens that could emit neon glow. I wonder. But that is super neon. It's called Electric Sunset, from designs by Rachel Beth. I really enjoy how it looks here. I'm sad that it won't show up for you. Anyway, so we'll move on. This was collage and illustration. I've done this tutorial on YouTube before. I've even done it for other people's YouTube channels before. It's one of my favorite things to do when I just don't know what to draw. Because I can collage it, I can puzzle play, and then I can draw whatever happens here. So my brain's thinking in a really abstract place here, and then it gives me a great reference to draw from and illustrate it. Sometimes I'll be very literal and just copy what I see. Sometimes I'll just use it as inspiration to draw something else. But it's a really stimulating exercise. So if you've never seen that collage and illustration tutorial, I'll put a little information card on the screen, and go check that out if that's something you think you might be interested in. Some watercolor. These are little die cuts from the sketchbook die cut pack as well. I think there are still some of those on Etsy, so if you want to check those out, these are from there. These ones are just from my personal sketchbook. I don't think I've shown those anywhere, but they're in that packet. And some more pages we did from that video. This was just like a random night of sketching, just to calm myself down. I shouldn't say calm myself down. I wasn't angry or anything. I was just, what do you say, relaxing. I was relaxing. That's what I was doing. I mean, it'd be fine if I was calming myself down too, but I don't know. I'm not really the kind of person to get so super angry and then like storm off to a room and then pick up a pencil and just like, draw. I'm not like that with my emotions. Usually I'll run to the fridge and I'll eat them. Is that too real? This is some unfinished collage. She has a different head to that body, but I just switched them out. And a nice brayered background with some paint. This one was no work for ultimate payoff, which I really was happy with. I was shockingly pleased with this little journal spread, and was one of the first that I finished in this journal as well. I used Copic marker. You can see I really don't care if things bleed through or goes through, or if I paint on this page and it gets paint all over the other pages. I just kind of work with it, or I just don't care about it. I don't know why. I think because I started this journal so loose and just crazy, you know, paint everything, rip everything up, throw everything at it. It wasn't precious from the get-go. Like once I felt not precious about any of it, it was really easy just to keep pushing forward and just doing whatever I wanted. It didn't matter if there was like a little, you know, little black mark over here. I could paint over it if I want, or I could just leave it there. I mean, it's not hurting anyone there. But you know, it wasn't the point to have a super clean and crisp, you know, journal page every page. Some of the gutters bleed through some of the other paints, and you know, sometimes that will bother me. I'm not going to say I would always be like this. I go through phases just like everyone does. Sometimes, you know, for a month I'm completely free and easy and loose and wild, and then the next month I want to be clean and neat and, you know, mask off my pages and have clean borders. I just say run with whatever you're feeling in the moment, and, you know, I'm sure most people that feel like that do have more than one journal. So maybe you can have a clean one and you can have a play one, and then track what part of your life that you find yourself gravitating towards which. Because I felt the more chaotic it got, the more hectic I got, the more I wanted to reach for this one, because there was no expectation to do anything good in here. And that's probably why today, even as I'm trying to wind down and de-stress, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to go in, I'm going to stamp over all these pages, I don't care what happens, I'm just going to have fun. And also, it being such a small size, super, super great, because it's so easy to just work all over. You know what I mean? You feel very accomplished very quickly. And some people I know don't love to work larger because they feel the stress of all that blank space, all the negative space, all the white paper. So a field note size is actually really, really fun. And a really good size for illustrating for me, because I don't tend to draw bigger than an A5. You know, and it's weird, but I've talked about this before, I think in the first playtest Patreon in 2018, if you're used to drawing one way in like one proportion, one size, actually shifting the sizes of your journals can really alter everything you feel about how you're creating. If I always drew this small and then suddenly went to a large Dilutions journal, she's going to look miniature on the page, and then I'll have so much more extra space to work with. And, you know, a journal page that maybe I used to have only 20 minutes a day to practice and play. Now I need 3 hours to fill that page, you know. So when I think it was, the whole video is called Does Size Matter, and I did a lot of portraits, like self-portraits, from a passport size traveler's notebook to an A3 size. Like, we just went up the sizes and then saw how the approach was different for each one. You'll even notice that your supplies that you might like are more appropriate for a certain size. Like, if I've got this brush, I'm not necessarily going to need this brush for a lot of this. Maybe if I want to do a really quick background, but there's not really going to be a lot that I'm going to need to do with this brush. But maybe this brush would come in super handy, because this seems like a good size. Alternatively, if I'm in an A3 size or a large Dilutions, I don't want to be doing a background with this. So I'm going to need maybe a bigger brush. And I think it's even funny to note how, you know, if you feel like you are struggling with some of your journaling, or feeling like you want to be more creative or be more playful, but you feel like you're a little stunted in how to play, maybe size has something to do with it. You might be in a journal that's a little too big for you, a little too small, and you just need that Goldilocks journal. So I don't know how to help you with that, but just something to note if that is an issue you've run into before. Anyway, let's keep going with this flip so I can get to playing. More collage sheets. I love her. I didn't really love the first sketch I did of this because it looked very pin-up, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not typically subject matter that I pull from. So when I reinterpreted that pin-up drawing into this page, and I even did the drawing on an old sheet music from a junk journal. Like, it was very just random drawing, and I just never thought twice about it. When I reinterpreted it to this mermaid, I fell in love with it. So this is also something we looked at in playtest 2 more recently, collaborating with yourself, going back through your older works and giving them a second life, giving them just making a new iteration of that work, and seeing if you can't find a new love for it or new eyes for it. Maybe you're in a new season, maybe you're using new mediums, maybe your skills have grown, and it's always good to go back and collaborate with your former self who found, you know, this interesting at one point in time. Can you find it interesting again? Is that something you feel like you might want to revisit? Those are really fun things to play with as well. Obviously, all if you want to. You don't have to do any of it. I only just go with whatever I feel like, whenever I feel like. That's how I tend to direct the creativity. Just completely selfish desire, selfishly motivated, do whatever I want when I want to do it, and tends to work out. I tend to enjoy myself a lot. So, sorry, more collage stuff. We did this on Instagram Live, inspired by my favorite red-blue pencils, the Mitsubishi Vermilion Prussian Blue. Red is my favorite color, so I really like her, but I love how unbothered she looks. So I really like those. This was a collage that I really enjoyed. I just think it's really dark, like it's really brown. And so I wanted to reinterpret this so that I could have another go at it. And I loved how she came out the second time. There she is. So I'm skipping all these pages just so I can show you that I drew that. And again, it's that collage and illustration style of an exercise where you're putting it all together in that puzzle place, and then you're illustrating it, pulling reference, inspiration from here. Which is great. If you have a bunch of illustrations that you've done before and that you actually like, I would even suggest working with those, because if you've drawn them once before, I think in the first tutorials I did with collage and illustration, we were tracing from photocopies, which I don't do anymore, only because I thought that was an effective way to help people learn how to do it. Ultimately, what I was doing was just drawing it out. Like in my spare time, what I preferred to do was collage it together and then just draw it. And the only reason I'm saying that is if you've drawn it before, you can draw it again. Like, that's just fact. So if you work with drawings that you have done, it should be easier for you to redraw them than it would be to, say, put an image of, an eye you cut from a magazine and then try and translate it to your own drawing. Sometimes I think, you don't want to just try and attempt that if you're just sitting down to have a bit of fun. So go and grab your old drawings, your old little sketches and doodles, and make copies of those to play with, because I think that'll really launch you into a more, illustrative work that I think you'll find fun. This is a lesson that we did in Playtest 2 from my travel journal workshop, Memory to Memento, and it's the Insta Stories lesson, which is just a really fun way to document Insta Stories. This was the version that I did for the video to show the example, but this is actually a spread in my travel journal, which it has the same hand, it's literally the same lesson, but in the travel journal it's refilmed differently. It's not this version. This was the Patreon version. The hand is holding a phone, and when you open it up, all the pictures from my Insta story from a night out that Stella and I had in Japan, which is I just thought it was a really, really easy, simple, fun, totally gets to the point of what I wanted to do, kind of a way to document the Insta stories. Because I have a really rough time trying to vlog on my camera, like my camera phone. I'm trying to take the video footage, then I'm trying to take photos of it, then I'm trying to take selfies of us, and then I'm trying to take an Instagram photo and an Instagram boomerang and an Instagram video, caption all of that, but all at once for everything. Do you know what I mean? Because I was trying to document, for social media as we were going, just so that everyone could follow along and enjoy. And sometimes I found that I would forget, if I've done it on Instagram, I would forget to actually do it for my camera roll. And Instagram's a very funny format. It doesn't save in super high quality all the time. The format itself is, in the Insta Stories, is quite narrow and portrait. And so you're just kind of limited in what you can do with that, and then it disappears after 24 hours. But I saved it to my highlights reel, so they kind of stay on my main page. But I wanted a more physical, tangible way to have that memory as well, not just the ones that I managed to capture, with my camera that went to my camera roll. So that's how this kind of lesson came up, so that I could have some of the images that I thought I wouldn't be able to use, I could find a good way to put them in. Because there was no part of me that was going to take a screenshot and then print that out and use that in my journal. I mean, I've done it before, but, it didn't make sense because I wanted to see the whole story. I wanted to see the narrative of, getting ready for the night out, going to the night out, having the fun, then going to the McDonald's. I wanted that whole narrative to play out in pictures, and I just thought it would be a much more fun way to use the accordion fold and actually have your Insta story fold out. And anyway, I'm talking way too much about that, but that was a lesson that we looked at in Playtest 2, which was really fun. This is more backgrounds. A friend came to visit and wrote in my journal, so that's really nice. I like having personal notes in here. And these are the Sparkle Pop pens as well, which look really, really good. This is just more backgrounds that I haven't worked on. A photo I took from the Sojourner open house and meetup. I wanted to practice watercoloring. Watercolor sketching, all the little teacups, because it was such a beautiful setup that I wanted to. I never printed a photo out, so I wanted to kind of document it in some way. For some reason, I decided to do it in here, and it totally worked. It's not. This paper isn't the best for watercolor, but you can absolutely use it for watercolor. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to give you all the effects of watercolor, but if you're using the watercolor just as a coloring medium, not so much trying to be a watercolorist, if that makes sense, then it will totally work in here. And I'm not sponsored by Moleskine either. Steve literally picked this up for free, so you know, I could give it the worst review in the world if I wanted to. There's no stakes in it for me, but the paper does actually hold up to it. It will buckle, it will warp. If that doesn't float your boat, then obviously stay away from that. But I have no problems with this. Anyway, I'm off topic again. I'm trying to do this quickly, and I know I've been going for what, half an hour at this point. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so we did that, and also because I've been following Liz Steele on Instagram, I recently came across Liz Steele, who does phenomenal urban sketching, and I love that whole documenting, you know, drawing from your life aspect. And I'm not going to say I've been trying to get better at it or I've been trying to practice it. I've been trying to give myself time to play with it. I think those are two very different intentions. That's not to say that one is right and one is wrong either. I mean, like, if you want to practice, practice. If you want to play, play. But I wanted to say that because I'm not diving into learning anything about it just yet. That maybe that'll come with time and like in my own personal free time. I just want to play with it. I want to try and see as much as I can do, you know, with no experience doing it, and then, you know, perhaps one day I'll get the desire to learn it. But yeah, I'm just going to kind of drive that for myself right now because I'm loving watching it. I've been watching new people do it on YouTube. I've been watching people do it on Instagram, and it's just been really inspiring to want to go and play. And I guess I don't even know why I'm telling you that, but it's that's because I ended up doing this, and I guess I'm just saying sometimes it's okay to just play and not have to learn. Like, you don't have to grow. Do you know what I mean? It's a great byproduct of playing, actually. Sometimes I've found the best growth that I've had is because I've been so inspired to play so much that I've inevitably learned through the process. That I don't think it works for some people. Some people might find it quite daunting to sit there and say, oh, you know, I want to try urban sketching, so now I've got to learn that. You really don't. You can actually just try as much as you think you can do. If you get the desire to learn it, then of course lean into that if you want to, but there's also nothing wrong with just saying, oh, I wanted to try it, so I just tried it, and, you know, I think this is what I enjoyed about it, and maybe I want to do it again another day, or maybe I just realized, you know what, I'll leave that for another day. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. You don't have to, just because you're enjoying something doesn't mean you have to become an expert at it or have master skill at it. You can be very content, very happy, just moving along at your pace, trying what you want to try, ditching it for a day, trying something else, and then coming back if you want. I don't know. I'm just trying to say that just because I know. I think even myself, I think through the last part of Patreon, I had realized I had just overwhelmed a lot of people with like a lot of tutorial content. There was a lot to try, a lot to do, and one of my biggest critiques for myself, I guess, would have been to, you know, pace that out a little bit better, but also to make sure that I told people that you don't have to learn it. You can just try it. You could just watch the video and just try whatever you wanted to try. You don't have to sit there and think, okay, well, the only way this is going to work out is if I follow steps A through Z, and then, you know, hopefully I've made it to the end. That's, you know, half the time I don't do that myself, so I would never ask someone to do that, would never expect that someone does that. Some people find that fun, some people find that process enjoyable, following along from start to finish. Other people just want to watch until they're ready to try for themselves, and that's more the category that I fall into. I want to watch someone have fun with it, and then I'll want to sit down and have fun with it, but I don't know how it will happen. Sometimes I'll start a tutorial, and then sometimes I'll just do anything. And yeah, anyway, I'm gonna leave that at that. I'm getting so many sidetracks. I'm so sorry. I think I'm way too chatty today. I probably should have just gone to Instagram Live instead of filming a video. Because I just want to chat all day long. Alright, she was a sketchbook, fragments die cut, and then I decided to do a paint pen version of her. This is when I was trying to do a YouTube video that I made like 60 false starts with, and didn't even end up finishing her because I was just so aggravated that I just couldn't get the video to work. I had no direction for it, and I was like, you know what, I need to step away and start again. But she was a part of that casualty process of a video that almost never got made. Here is just an old coloring page that I colored in. Thought it would look really fun against that graphic black and white striped background. which is just some black and white striped ink. This is, we've just looked at her, the watercolor version, some collage that's nowhere near finished. This I really, really love. This is probably one of the most simple kind of finished pages. It happened really organically because I dropped the ball bearing out of one of the Tim Holtz Distress paints. I think it's called Spun Sugar, or Cotton Candy or something. Maybe it's Spun Sugar. I don't know. Who's Spun Sugar? Is that Diane? No, I know for a fact it's the Tim Holtz one, but it's light pink. It's really, really pretty. I love that color, but it got to the end. I loved it too much. So I dropped the ball bearing on there, and then I pushed it across the page, just thinking, yeah, that'll be something. At that point, I was just having fun playing, getting my hands dirty and playing with everything. And then I had this little ballerina that I drew, and she's a part of a collage sheet from Patreon, and I just cut her out, and it looked like the ribbon falling out of her hair. So that's that. That's that on that. Alright, we're almost at the end. This is literally the last page. These were just some black dots, and I put some illustrations over the top. I hope you enjoyed some of that flip and that little million different story times that we went on. I'm going to set myself up for a bit of a play session in this journal. Probably some stamping, some coloring, some doodling, some drawing. Who knows at this point? But I'm ready for it. And I'm going to jump up into a voiceover and chat to you about Playtest 2 and Creator Box. So I'll see you in a second.
G'day, voiceover. Okay, so I had a great time playing. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I've got some other stuff to talk about. I basically just stamped and played, and you know what? I think anytime you can get to a desk, a kitchen table, your couch, a coffee table, wherever you can get to, I think any point of the day where you can sit down, express yourself creatively, and leave that space feeling better than when you got there, that's a good thing. Not just for you, but for the world around you. Everyone that has to interact with you during that day. You will be a blessing to others if you do take time to fill up your cup that way. And who really knows why we enjoy using stickers and why we enjoy using washi tape and what it is about, you know, having a couple of stamps and stickers in a planner that really makes us want to be back in there. Who knows what it all is? And at this point, do we really care? The fact of the matter is we do just love it, and we've accepted that, and we're really leaning in is I think is the new age term for that, and I really enjoy it. I do think there's such a point to be made for the fact that feeling, sitting down and doing something cathartic is relaxing. Putting stickers somewhere, decorating with washi tape, that is just relaxing. To see those colors, just to get your hands moving, the fine motor skills that you need sometimes to play with your supplies, those things just relax us. They're helpful for kids, obviously, but I'm not really talking about the kids right now. For us, people that have maybe just matured beyond childhood and just for some reason never let go of painting and playing and coloring and cutting and sticking and pasting, it just feels good to do it. And I think that's something that we should make time for, and that we should really appreciate, because we have the opportunity to learn something and leaving, so you sit down at the coffee table, right? You're feeling like most adults feel, the weight of the world on their shoulders, okay? That's what I'm assuming about everyone watching. But it can be a little daunting to be an adult sometimes. You sit down at that coffee table, you create something that you like and you feel proud. You learn something new and you feel confident, or you do something that is cathartic and monotonous and you feel relaxed. All of these things are so good for you to leave that space feeling like. For everyone that interacts with you and for yourself. So if you've ever been like me and sometimes wondered, am I crazy for enjoying all of this? The answer is yes, you are. You're as crazy as I am, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. There's totally a point to it, and the point is that investing those feelings into yourself, investing joy into yourself, confidence, rest and relaxation, and fulfillment, creative fulfillment, putting those things in your own bucket really helps you overflow into the world around you and bring all of that joy out to others. So I know it's a bold claim to make, but I'm sticking by it. I will always stick by it. If you can leave that space feeling better than when you first entered it, it is a great thing. And I think expressing your creativity in all these forms is such a great way to do it. Especially as mixed media artists, because we're so spoiled. We get to pick up anything and everything we want and use it. So that's what I'll say about the process, and I'm only saying that really because I did leave this space feeling much more relaxed, much happier, and feeling quite accomplished. I did set out to have a good time, and that's what I had for about an hour. So I'll let you watch through the 2 pages that I ended up creating in the little journal. My first announcement is for playtest 2. It will all be wrapped up on Sunday. If for some crazy reason you're still thinking about joining, you will have to join and really go in and find that post about what's going to happen as it closes, because you will need to get access to the OneDrive so that you can have access to all that content after the fact. So I will go back in there and make sure that I do post that again tomorrow on Saturday. But if you're watching this after that, then it will be on Etsy, all bundled up, the full content from August and September, and it'll be available over there. So please, if you are one of the patrons, please be diligent in checking those messages and also looking out for those posts. Just so you know, if you've got access to the OneDrive already, you're fine. Don't worry about the posts. Don't even bother visiting Patreon anymore. You can just go to the OneDrive. But for anyone that is still trying to figure that out, please read all of those posts, and if you do have any questions, probably best to reach on Instagram direct message, honestly, at this point, just because it's so much easier for me to see all the messages. Everything everywhere else seems to get filtered out, and especially on Etsy, it's really confusing because it's a lot of shop stuff on there. So Instagram DM, I'm going to say, hit me with your question over there if you have one. The next thing I want to talk about is Creator Box, and I'm just going to spill all the beans because I said I would, and I knew I would. The product that I'm making for the Creator Box is a pocket journal, and it is a replica of this journal that I have flipped through and worked in today on camera. And I am really, really excited about it. It is functional. It will function as a notebook, just a very heavily decorated notebook. And it's not just printed on the cover, it's printed all the way through. So it is essentially a journal ready for you to put the finishing touches on if you wish to journal in it, if you wish to just put notes in there or just stick some photos in there, however you decide to use it, I guess. But I'm just really excited to be able to share such a personal piece of my own creativity with you. And I did, through playtest 2 in the first box for August, I did put a replica of my sketchbook, and I just really loved being able to share that with people. And now something more finished, like an art journal page. So the ones where I didn't put any words on there, that's so that it can function as a notebook for you. But honestly, if you are buying the Creator Box, I don't mind if you just draw all over it or if you paint all over it. I would actually love to see you get really collaborative with it and show me all of the things that I would never think of doing to finish some of these pages or to reinterpret them and rework with them. So it will be an almost exact replica of the size. It won't have every page in there, it won't have all the blank pages, and I will be chopping and changing between a few, and I possibly might put one of these pages in from today's session. I might go and scan it and format it. We still got a week of pre-orders where I can still make changes, so yeah, we'll see how that goes, and I am just very, very excited to make that little notebook and put that in the Creator Box. So the Creator Box is open for pre-order from today, September 27th, until October 4th, so next Friday. It's a full 7 days. Please, please, please make sure you read all that information, especially about the shipping, just because I know I can already feel it in my waters, Kim. There's going to be questions about the customs and import taxes for European countries. There always kind of is. So please read that information before you do place an order, and please do not place the pre-order in with any other item from the shop to check out with. Otherwise, the order will be cancelled because the pre-order will ship. It's scheduled to ship late October, early November, and pending that everything goes well, which, fingers crossed, touch wood, do all of that stuff. But please just read all that information, and also head over to I'll put the link down below straight to the Creator Box listing on Etsy. Please read some of the products that they're making. I put over there which designers are doing which products, and a bit of a recap of some, well, not a recap, but a quick glance at what you could expect in word form. I didn't put any of the pictures up there because I really want it to be a really fun surprise, and you will be very surprised. The level of quality and attention to detail in this work is just stunning, and I'm so excited to be able to see how this project evolves and see where we can take it in the future and what we can do with it, and how hopefully in the future we can find another chance to bring Creator Box back if it does well, and hopefully get new designers, new creators to launch into their own manufacturing. I think it's going to be really, really fun. I'm super excited to do it, and there'll be more information coming out throughout the next week, but just for now, the link is down below in the description, and I encourage you to go check it out. So, that's everything from me today. Hope you have a wonderful start to the weekend. I will be back with you very, very soon for Whimsy Ween. Bye.